What's happening, guys, and welcome to the Galactic Explorers Podcast. My name is Ash, and this is episode 49. And with me today, I am joined by the Kings. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. Yes, I'm doing good, thank you.
Good to hear. No Jeff today. We did try and schedule it for the weekend. We are recording on the Monday, but unfortunately, kids don't have them, guys.
Yes, they have. Well, if you do have them, just have them really quickly and rush them through to 18.
yeah. If only that worked so well. How old are we? I'll be in my 40s by the time my oldest is 18.
No. It's that isn't the point. The point is you're just about to have another one. So what you're doing is now resetting the clock.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I think when I'm 43, at least I'm able to legally kick out my oldest child then. So at least there'll only be 3 in the house.
I always said that 18 and you're out, but it doesn't feel like that.
It happened with me. I was 18 when I moved out. It's been 11 years now since.
Sure.
Right. So, No Man's Sky. It's been a week since the update. Was it last Monday that it dropped?
Yes, it was because we re-recorded, if you remember the starting bit.
Yes. So it's been a week since we've had the. I don't know whether to call it like a proper update. It's more just like a content update.
Well, yeah. It's a proper update.
Well, we didn't have that build up, though, did we? We didn't really have the build up of what we're used to with Hello Games and No Man's Sky.
No, but wasn't it quite good though, having an announcement and then within a week having the actual.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. That was really nice. Definitely. I liked it.
I think the burnt people out a little bit with the whole ARG. I think most people have forgotten about that really now.
I guess we have, haven't we?
I think it was a very much a drawn out process and burnt a lot of people out, I think, especially with how long it took.
I didn't really pay close attention to it, so it was mostly you guys just telling me what happened.
I think it kickstarted for Next. I think it kickstarted back up again in something like January or February, and it took all from then up till the release of Next to finish it off.
Mm.
And did Next come out in? It was after E3, wasn't it? This year.
Next wasn't it the end of April?
Was it actually April? Was it before E3?
Oh gosh.
I thought
I've slept since then.
Oh no, it's definitely after E3 because I remember us talking about whether they'd show up at E3 for Xbox, weren't we? And then obviously they never showed up at PlayStation or
yes,
Xbox.
You're right.
So it was definitely after the beginning of June.
Yeah.
So it was either end of June, July time. I'm pretty sure it was before the second anniversary, I want to say. But anyway, yes. So it took a long time to finish off the next cycle of the ARG. But yes, The Abyss. We've had a week to play it. I've been jumping back into No Man's Sky myself.
Yes,
I haven't gone very far because the game decided to screw me over, as it always has a tendency to do at some point or another. No Man's Sky, but I'm glad I've only started playing 2 hours of it before it did this, rather than 30 hours and then having to restart. But I haven't actually managed to build anything in the water or get the submarine or anything, but I've managed to find a tropical planet which had lots of water, and I have managed to have a swim around and have an observation.
Right, so you've seen the difference now underwater.
Definitely, yeah.
Doesn't it look how you imagine? Well, if you've been to a reef of some description and done any diving or even just swimming and snorkeling.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted, and that's just kind of what it looks like now, isn't it? It's just wonderful. So much better.
Yeah, it's definitely much more like the surface with the amount of animals. Obviously, when you go to a tropical planet, and you have so much more. And I've noticed when you do go to like a tropical planet, usually you might have had like 10 animals on that planet, which was quite a lot, really. 10 animals or 11 is usually quite a high number. But now it's like 17 because they've added obviously the more amount of animals in the ocean. So. I have noticed, I don't know if it's glitch or anything, but I keep getting, when I go into the scan mode to see if there's any red dots flying around for the animals, I do get like these really weird ones where they just suddenly appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I try and zoom in on them or whatever.
And there's nothing, and then you disappear.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a bug with this update or if it was there beforehand.
I think that was there before. It was certainly the behaviour that I saw with underwater creatures.
Right. See, mine were on the surface. They were like flying animals.
Right. I only get that when I'm in multiplayer.
Right, okay.
The multiplayer, it's still
a bit of a bug.
It struggles to deal with that for whatever reason, that exchange of information. So I imagine that some people are seeing them and some people aren't, and then they sort of jump in and out.
Weird, because I've turned my multiplayer settings to only like friends.
Okay.
Who can join me, so it can't be that unless it's just some kind of.
Well, no, you're unlikely.
My PlayStation and the server or something. But it's really weird because I try and walk towards them, and you'll just see like a flicker of whatever it is. And then they'll not fly off somewhere, but they'll
it must be. No, but it must be that behaviour of the game code, just on the limit of where it bothers to render or generate creatures, and they kind of were there, and then they walk out of range, so they disappear. That's what I imagine it is, and the fish tend to move a bit more quickly, and so I guess that's why you see it underwater more than on the surface. I don't know.
I like the groupings of the animals in under the water, where they all seem to school together. Yeah,
they work well. But we saw that also from Next. How you got flocks of land animals as well. One other behaviour I've seen,
and the hunting as well.
Yes, more hunting going on, definitely, and also birds or flying creatures diving down into the water.
Yes,
which I thought was good.
So this planet that I was on, it had obviously the flying creatures, but they were not just diving towards the water, but to the land as well. They were swooping down.
Attacking land animals.
Well, I didn't see them actually attacking animals, but they were just swooping down, flying really low to the surface of the land. So unless that's what they was doing, I just couldn't see.
Which is again very different behaviour from before.
Which is fantastic, really, because it makes the world feel alive rather than just being
it does, doesn't it?
Not a static creature, but very linear.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts have been after playing it for a week?
Yeah, well, I really like it. I think that, as we said, it's made the underwater interesting as well as more accessible because of the submarine, which is fine. I'd like to see, or I'd like to find a planet where the water is much deeper.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember back to the very early days and Sean Murray saying how he saw a point of interest in the ocean and it was very deep. He died trying to get down to it.
Yeah.
We don't have that at the moment. The water, whilst it's deeper after this Abyss update, it's not as I'd like to feel like you're going down into the depths of darkness and there's no light. Is that
all types of planets, or like even the planets where there literally is pretty much only water? Or
well, I don't know for certain yet. Just yesterday, my mate and I, we found a planet that is almost entirely water.
Right. Okay.
But all I've done is put a quick base marker on there, and we haven't had a chance to explore it properly.
Okay.
I have a suspicion that it doesn't go down
too
very deep.
Right.
But it's certainly deep enough.
Yeah.
But it's not like that sort of Marianas Trench sort of.
Yeah.
Well, like the mountains can go up quite high. Especially on some planets, you get really quite tall mountains.
Yeah.
And you would expect the same going down, but obviously it depends. So I'd like to see that,
because obviously with the mathematics that they use to obviously create the planet, because it's like a wave format, isn't it? Of the creator, you would have thought that it would have been easy enough just to create the opposite wave.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because obviously it's being filled by a physical thing, which is the water, right? It makes it more difficult or something.
Maybe.
Because obviously, at least on the surface, you're only dealing with the plants and the rocks.
Yes,
and
which
animals.
are tied very closely to the top of the deformable land, which is in turn tied closely to the base layer that you can't mine through.
Yeah. And obviously in the ocean, obviously you got all those, obviously the animals, the plants, the rocks, but then you've also got the added water as well.
Yeah, I know all that, but I still want it.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, it's a weird. It's because obviously if there's going to be a point where the stop, like the planet generations stops to a certain depth, because obviously, like you say, it's the bottom level of where it can go. And if that's the case, obviously trying to dig down there as well. That's another thing. Is like I haven't noticed whether if you use the terrain manipulator underwater, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So does the water fill up that space that you've dug out?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So has anyone tried doing it since the Abyss update, where you can do it, on the beach side? So if you go on the beach where the water's literally lapping up against the thing, have you tried using terrain manipulator at the water's level, and then
right on the water's edge?
Yeah, and then going inland, seeing if the water flows inwards.
No, I haven't tried that.
Right, because that might be why there's a specific limit as well, because obviously the water might not be able to actually physically flow.
Yeah.
So,
it's.
But that's the problem, isn't it? With the
it's amazing though, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So
just the maths and the logic behind
it's hard to get your mind around.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But overall, I've very much enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing the mission to follow this crashed freighter. Oh yeah, because there was a crash at the beginning of the mission. I'll not give too much away because you haven't done it yet. But at the beginning of that sort of update mission, there's a crashed freighter which is in the water, in the sea, and it takes you from point to point. But I enjoyed that, and ultimately you end up getting the sub, and I think that's and the helmet. A new style diver's helmet that you probably would have seen in the notes.
Yes.
So yeah, it's very good.
Would you like to see more of these kind of more content or like upgraded updates? So they upgrade a specific part of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see more story content.
Right. Okay.
More things a bit like that, where you go from one thing to another and you get a message and you can read it and you feel like you're part of a story. I am not particularly bothered about the whole fetch quest thing.
Yeah.
Go there and do this again and then come back and get a reward. Kind of a bit bored of that.
Yeah, it was kind of done to death with the whole base building missions.
Yeah, I'd like to see more and more varied base building components. I know that they've expanded it a lot, but there's
I think in the patch notes each week that we get, it says that there's new building parts each week.
Oh, does it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't noticed.
I don't know, because obviously I'm not.
Because what's missing? No, but what's missing from the base components is a sloping up and down corridor.
Okay.
So you can build easily on a horizontal plane, and you can stack rooms to go up or down, and then put a ladder between them. But there isn't a corridor that goes up,
like a stairwell corridor kind of thing.
That sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, you can build. If you stack a lot of cuboid rooms together, you can build a big space, and then you could put a ramp inside to go up
I can't imagine that looks very pretty, though, can it?
No, well, not the, and obviously it takes a lot of cuboid rooms to do it. So yeah, I think that I'd like that to a change of height. But all in all, I really can't moan about it because it's more.
Well, it's free content as well.
It's more content and it's free. But if I was to take Jeff's position, I would be sat here saying, fix the bugs.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to get a bit cross at the bugs. We've had 2 crashes in the last couple of days.
Oh.
Getting at trying to open the storage on my freighter when in multiplayer. It's crashed twice in the last 2 days, and it hasn't even crashed. It's just frozen.
Well, so you can just go back to the PlayStation home screen and
yes, you can
close the game,
but it doesn't crash so badly that you get the blue screen.
Yeah,
I know that it's not going to work because my mate says, "Oh, you've just left the game."
yeah. So I think that's one thing that we'll always associate with No Man's Sky. I don't think it will ever completely.
It's like a Bethesda game, isn't it?
Yeah, which makes no sense because Bethesda's got about 8 studios, countless of hundreds employees, and they're still unable to make a game where there's no bugs in it.
And they still have mammoths falling from the sky.
Yeah, and then you look at Red Dead Redemption, and I don't think I've seen a single bug in that game.
No, I haven't either. And I'm on chapter 3 now, and I haven't. I can't think of an actual bug.
The
only thing I've seen is that sort of what to be expected weird movement occasionally when you put your horse in a weird position between 2 rocks or around a tree or something, and it struggles to work out where to render it. But that is, I wouldn't class it as a bug.
No, it's just. I think it's just.
To be expected, because they're giving you an open world.
Yeah, it's just. Whereas like Bethesda,
it's amazingly well done.
Yeah,
unbelievably good.
Whereas let's go on to next topic then, because I think we talked about.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Right. So, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, do you think games? Because obviously it's taken 8 years to make that game, or whatever it's taken. It's taken 8 years since obviously the first one to come out, for this one to come out, depending on when they started working on this game specifically. But it's taken 8 years to bring this game out. Do you think any future games will be unfairly judged against this one? Well, not just from obviously Rockstar, but from when obviously Bethesda bring out their new Elder Scrolls game, do you think it's going to be unfairly judged against Red Dead?
I don't really see what you mean by unfairly, because anyone that releases a game is potentially going to have it compared to other games. The fact that Rockstar are able to produce a game that's so wide in scope and so free of bugs, surely it's not unfair to compare other people's games to it. If they're buggy Bethesda nonsense, then you have to say, well, where are your testers, and why aren't you doing more before releasing the game?
Yeah,
Rockstar delayed this, and they clearly only wanted to release it when it was ready to be released. They haven't rushed out another patch, people playing it and finding lots of bugs. It's still on the same 1.02
Yeah.
that I started with on day one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sorry.
whilst it's not a game for everybody, I think there are some people that would look at it. If you're expecting GTA on horses, you're not going to get that.
No, it's a lot slower.
It is, yeah. And whilst the story for both games has been really enjoyable, I loved GTA 5's single player campaign, and I'm really enjoying what I've seen so far of this one. But it is a different game, and it is a lot slower, and you do have to accept that. Well, if you want to get from here to there, then riding is probably the way you're going to do it. But comparing, I don't think that it's a bad thing to compare other releases with this. This is almost like going back to the days before people were able to put out patches. It's almost like going back to the old console days where you had a cartridge or a DVD, and what you got was what you were going to play.
Well, it was only really last generation, wasn't it? Obviously, PS3 and Xbox 360. Before that, obviously PS2. I don't think
most people were offline.
Well, PS2. I don't think you could connect to the internet. Like you could connect to it, but I don't think you could.
I think there was some sort of modem or something, wasn't there, available?
Yeah, so that you wasn't able to download patches.
No,
and I don't think were able to do so with the first Xbox either.
No. So what you bought was what you played forever,
and that was only 10 years ago.
It wasn't very long. No, you're right.
So it's only within the last 10 years where where companies have pretty much safeguarded their own, obviously first party studios and obviously other studios, with them being, we kind of allow them to release games which are unfinished and still be able to charge us full price for the games, because they think, we'll get a day one patch ready. That's
true. But equally, as long as they work on it and they make it better, I don't necessarily mind that, as long as it gets fixed. I don't know. I sit on both sides of this. On the one hand, it's great that people can fix their games. On the other hand, if
we don't have a guarantee,
so horrible. No, that's right.
We just don't have a guarantee that they will do. I mean, let's be honest. Hello Games could have just happily have not fixed No Man's Sky. They could have just seen what happened with the initial release.
They could have
maybe brought out one update, like the Foundation update, and another one, and that's it. Left it and moved on to something else. But it's good to see, like, obviously people like them obviously go to the extent where they do continue to do free updates.
I'm looking forward to the VR update next.
Yes, I think for me, it's so. I think Rockstar are one of these studios where they have special privileges, so they don't need to go to places like E3. They don't need to go to E3 and announce Red Dead Redemption 2. They just do it when they want to do it.
They do.
Yes. Places like Bethesda still aren't there yet, I don't think. Because obviously, they do have their own E3, but I think out of the past 3 years, their E3s have been quite poor. The only, personally for me, this year's E3 for Bethesda, their only saving grace was the last two announcements, and they were just a minute and a half long teaser trailers, and that was it. There was no actual details about them. I
think you follow this closer than I do.
Well, the last two announcements for Bethesda this year was Elder Scrolls 6, and then
that was hardly anything, though, wasn't it?
Well, that's what I mean.
It was just we're working on it.
It was just a teaser. It was just a teaser trailer, wasn't it? It was just a video, and then also Starfield, which was exactly the same. And for me, they were the only two saving graces for me personally. I just thought the Bethesda's E3 was a bit disappointing this year. But But I mean, obviously, it's my opinion. It's not obviously not the same as everyone else's. But I just think with Rockstar, they're able to like go 5 to 8 years without making a game, and still bring out a game, and they'll still have the money there to do that.
Well, yes, yeah, because GTA Online,
yeah, exactly,
is just pouring money into them. They can hardly hire enough people to spend all the money.
Exactly,
So...
and another thing with that as well, like they're not having, they're releasing more content each month or whatever, but it's not like huge updates or anything. Whereas a company like Bethesda, their only real income. I mean, yeah, obviously they've got Skyrim, not Skyrim Online, Elder Scrolls Online, but it's not nearly half as popular as GTA Online.
No, I'm sure it isn't.
No, so apart from that, their only real source of income is bringing out either new games or rehashing old games like Skyrim onto new consoles and stuff.
There are no more versions of Skyrim.
No, but that's the thing.
It can't be.
For them to make money and obviously keep the machine running, they have to spend money by making these new games, by obviously emulating Skyrim onto another console.
No, and I think that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rockstar are able to, a bit like Nintendo, they're able to say this game will be released when it's ready and not before. Whereas almost every other developer in the world is forced to release on a schedule
date, because
that's when they need their money in.
Yeah.
That's when the publisher says you've got to do this because we're paying you, or whatever reason. It's why No Man's Sky came out.
Yeah.
Hello Games ran out of money and they needed to release it in a form, and so they did. Yeah. That's just the way it is. But it's as a player, I would rather have waited those 8 years and got what I've got today than had in 6 years had some sort of substandard Red Dead 2 that I wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's my point though. Is obviously you're happy to wait the 8 years. Obviously, Rockstar are able to wait 8 years.
Are able to.
Yeah.
But most people can't.
And that's the thing, though, obviously. So if we are comparing, in the scale of quality, obviously Rockstar being the highest quality currently. So if we're comparing Bethesda, obviously in those 8 years they've released probably minimum of 4 games in that 8 years.
Have they?
Well, what have they released? They're bringing out 2 Dooms. So they brought out a Doom a couple of years ago, and I think
there's another Doom coming. Yeah.
What was that like that? They brought out 2 Wolfensteins. They brought out something. What is it? It's like that's like sneaky game where you're sneaking about and you got like powers and stuff. I can't remember what I've gone behind.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah,
I've done well up until this point, but they brought like
can't remember
5-6 games out.
Didn't play it. Yeah,
and that's probably in the last 4 years. Bethesda have been bringing out 2 games a year for the past like 3 years, I think.
Right. Okay.
So they're constantly working on 2 games simultaneously. You would have thought in like final production wise, anyway. You would have thought they've been working on 2 games final production wise. Whereas also obviously they're having to split all their team up into working on 2 games. Some people working on games further down the line, etc. Whereas Rockstar, they have GTA, Red Dead. Obviously, at one point they also had LA Noire.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Apart from the weird facial gurning.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think that was one of the first games to use motion capture.
I don't know. They made a big thing about, you've got to interrogate people and watch their facial expressions to try and work out whether they're lying.
I know all the characters those faces are the actual people's faces. They were mocapped.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the.
But it was
one of the early examples of it, wasn't it? Obviously, it didn't translate very well. But yeah, so obviously comparing...
That was Rockstar Australia, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. So obviously comparing a company obviously, yeah, they've got different, like you said, different sub-companies. So obviously Rockstar, Australia, etc.
I think it was it Bondi? Rockstar? I can't remember.
Something, yeah. But obviously they
closed it after the game released.
Oh, did they really?
I think they disbanded the studio afterwards, yeah.
But yeah, so obviously Rockstar are able to concentrate pretty much solely on one project at a time, and for obviously a prolonged period of time, where it seems obviously other companies are not so.
They're not so lucky. They have to release.
Yeah, so that's what my perception of. Is it unfair to judge other games against the quality level that Red Dead Redemption is at current anyway? Obviously in 5 years' time, we're probably expecting this kind of quality from all games.
Why? What do you think is going to change?
Well, technology changes, doesn't it? Obviously, we get more powerful.
I don't think that's not going to make any difference to the demands of the shareholders and the.
Yeah, but obviously the shareholders, they're only caring about money, aren't they? Really?
Exactly. So they don't care. They say, "Well, we need it released in this month."
Oh yeah, I know, but obviously more powerful computers and technology means they can do more things at once.
And greater expectations from the public.
Yeah, but obviously, I think there's like an equilibrium where we get to a certain point. So, like, obviously, someone always pushes that equilibrium to a higher level, and then it takes a progressive amount of time for other people to catch up, and then we obviously push on a bit further ahead, don't we? And then it carries on like that. We always end up at the same point at some point down the line before there's another surge in technology or whatnot in quality. It's like sport, isn't it? So if for example football, if you look at football 30, 40 years ago, and then if you compare it to football nowadays, it's a completely different thing. Footballers 30 years ago, they were smoking, they were drinking, right, yeah. they were eating pies and all sorts of stuff. A
pint of beer and a cigarette at half time.
Exactly. Whereas these days, the football is completely slated if they get caught smoking one cigarette.
Quite right too.
Exactly, yeah. But it's that kind of thing, though, isn't it? Obviously, things change. We discover new things, and we find things improve. Because that's bog standard. Whereas I think, staying in the football terms, I know obviously some people won't be happy about that, but I think when Arsene Wenger took over Arsenal I think it was '96, he was one of the first managers to bring in making sure people weren't drinking and stuff like that, and they ended up winning, numerous Premier League titles because of their change in mental fortitude.
Okay, yeah, okay, but all right.
Obviously,
but it doesn't necessarily. It's not quite the same, is it?
No.
Because you can't really compare an improvement in processing power with a change in the health methodology. But I get your point. As time goes on, things improve.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of incidental to the financial pressures that are put on a development team to release a game by a certain date so that the money comes in. So that is always going to happen in almost all cases. But it's only when you have someone like Rockstar or Nintendo who are prepared to say, we're delivering when it's ready. Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, because obviously with technology, obviously new technology is more expensive. As it gets older, it becomes more like the standard norm, doesn't it? If you buy a new graphics card now, it'll probably cost you over $1,000 for a brand new spanking one, which is top of the line. But in 2 years' time, down the line, pretty much everyone will either have that one, or it's going to be a lot cheaper, isn't it? So
yeah. Oh, and actually, just total aside, but graphics card prices have dropped quite a lot recently, haven't they? Because
since Bitcoin,
the Bitcoin mining is not as profitable as it used to be.
Not anymore.
Hooray!
Yay.
So we can all upgrade our PCs.
Yes. Well, I'm done for a little while now. I think my graphics card is okay for what I use the computer for at the minute. Okay, so speaking of games and 2018, do you think 2018 has been the best year for games ever?
Oh yes, I saw you were going to ask this, and what I meant to do was to look up what's come out this year.
Right,
but I totally forgot to do that.
Shall I drag up a list?
Yes,
quick
do.
List. Games released in 2018. Right.
That's what we want to know.
Is it going to actually start from right? So, let's just go through the biggest ones I can see.
Pick out all the biggies. Anything that you think.
January. Let's look at January then. I'm guessing you can class this as a big one. Street Fighter 5. That came out. I mean, obviously, if you include in all populations, so including Japan, that would have been massive in Japan. That would have sold so many copies.
Not in my house.
Yeah. Monster Hunter World, that came out in Japan. In January.
I played the demo of that. It was sort of interesting, but I hadn't ever played one before, and it wouldn't be on my list of favourites.
A remake, but Shadow of the Colossus, that came out in February. Yeah, that came out in February. Let's have a look. What else have we got? I mean, people were really exclaiming about that Kingdom Come Deliverance that came out in February. Buggy as hell, but
oh, was it?
Yeah, it's very buggy, and it's still quite buggy now. Obviously, not such a good seller. Metal Gear Survive. Obviously, the first Metal Gear game since Konami. Was it Konami?
That didn't do very well, did it?
No. Well, it was the first one that was made without.
Oh, Hideo Kojima.
Kojima.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was like a survival game, wasn't it? I think it was a survival multiplayer game or something. That came out in February, which seems such a long time ago now.
It does, doesn't it?
What else have we got? So we're into March now. March we saw. Why does that game sound familiar? Titan Quest. Am I being stupid for some reason? Oh no, yeah, that's just an old game, just remade. Far Cry 5 came out in March.
Right. Yes. I would like to play that, but
it's okay.
All right.
I'm a big Far Cry fan. I loved Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4. It just seemed like not much had changed.
Okay.
The story's good. I like the story.
Far Cry 3 was free with PS Plus at some point, and I played some of that and quite enjoyed it. But
well, I think one of the main reasons why I pre-ordered Far Cry 5 is because you got Far Cry 3 on the PlayStation 4 as a freebie kind of thing.
Right.
So I was like, oh, excellent. April, we got... I feel Hellblade did pretty well. It got quite good reviews.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. People talked about that a lot, you're right.
Yeah, that came out in April.
Didn't play it.
God of War came out in April as well.
Want to play it. Haven't done yet.
I've never been a fan of them personally.
I haven't played any of them.
No, I just don't like the camera angles.
Right, okay.
What are we up to now?
But it looks very good.
Oh yeah, it definitely looks very good. I mean, it might have changed like the camera angles now to what the older ones were like. Let's have a look. Did I say we're in May now? Yes, May.
Are you in May? Are you? I was still scrolling through. With Hello Kitty cruises, whatever it is.
Detroit Become Human.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I played the demo, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna worry about it, to be honest.
Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That was quite heavily excited for people.
Right, for you?
Not for me. I'm happy to leave my street fighting days behind me. Back in the 90s when I used to play with my dad. Where were we on? June.
Onrush. That was a bit of a shame, a racing game, but
I don't remember that.
There's a demo for it, but it was a bit.
It got a 9.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, Not in my book. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Right, what else we got? Oh, am I in June? Yes, I'm in June. So Jurassic World Evolution.
Jurassic World, yes, okay. Yeah. Again, one of those that if I had more time and more money, I would have played. But there you go.
Mario Tennis Aces as well.
No, some people really, really like that.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like an up and down one for some people. That I think the majority of people liked it. What else have we got? Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, so the remakes of them. Then we got Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. That came out in June. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus came out in June.
It did.
July.
That was a Switch version. Maybe there was there an earlier version?
Oh yeah. Else? So that would have come out like a year or something later.
Yeah.
So, where are we?
We haven't got to things like Spider-Man yet.
No, exactly. So July, Octopath Traveler, which was raved about for the Switch. Absolutely raved about.
Look, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
you can claim
Xbox
that
One.
because it's the Xbox version.
Yes. Then August we have Monster Hunter World for PC, so I suppose that's come out twice this year. Shenmue 1 and 2.
Oh yes, you never came back after having played it more.
It's just Shenmue. It's just it was just more of the same.
But have you really enjoyed it?
Oh yeah, I'll always enjoy Shenmue just because of like the nostalgia factor. I admit, like there's like looking back on it, aspects now, it's not as good as it. Like the gameplay mechanics aren't as good.
So, but did you know that going in, so it's not a surprise, or are you a wee bit disappointed that it's
I'm not
quite
disappointed, but it just reminded me. That there were because obviously I think when did it come out? I think it was
a long time ago.
99, so it was like 19 years ago. So I was only 10 years old. So you don't tend to pick up on like game mechanics when you're 10 years old. You just play it. Yeah. Plus as well, like controllers were different back then and things. So I think on the Dreamcast there was only, I want to say there was only one analog stick. Maybe I'm lying there. I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I'll have to go and look at the controller. Got one downstairs.
Yes. Have you got a Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I picked one up just for Crazy Taxi.
There you go. Crazy Taxi. What game? The only thing that used to annoy me about that game is the fact that you had a timer on it. I wish there was just a mode where you could just
do a bit like the that driving game we just drive around Paradise City. Just drive around the city. Yeah, that would be good.
Just doing taxi jobs.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
Well, then we must hit Spider-Man and
September. So September. We've got we've got Spider-Man. Where are we?
So many games.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That was quite raved about for this. I think for all. Oh, I thought it came out on the Switch at the same. Not Switch. Yeah, I thought it came out on the Switch at the same time. That came out in January, so.
Alright, okay.
It still came out this year, I suppose.
Yep.
Then we got October, so this was last month. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out.
Oh yes.
Month. Forza Horizon 4, but it's just another Forza Horizon game.
But that was, I mean, everybody has said how good that game is.
Oh, okay.
And it's driving around Britain as well, so.
Yes, it is, isn't it, I suppose. Well, it did get a 9, it got a Superb.
Oh, did okay, yeah.
On GameSpot. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like I said, that got a. How did that only get an 8 compared to Forza Horizon getting a 9? What else have we got?
Subjective, isn't it?
It is very subjective, that. Bloody driving games getting 9s out of 10s. What the world's coming to.
But looking back, I mean, I find it
Redemption
difficult.
2 as well, yeah. That came out
of course.
this month.
I find it difficult to say that this year's any better than any other year. The amount of money I have available, or indeed the amount of desire I have to buy every big game that comes out, is not there.
It's limited.
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to pick games that I think that I'm going to enjoy. So I haven't bought many games this year.
Yeah.
I used the PS Plus for some freebie filler in between, and basically, I often will pick up games that are old on sale. So my ability to judge this year's releases is limited. So all I can tell you is, I think the only thing I've bought new this year, just on release, is probably Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that I've actually bought that was new out. And last year I probably bought similarly just one, maybe two on release.
Yeah.
So is it better than last year? Probably, because I think in general the quality goes up as time goes on. Just as we were saying before about the processors and technology getting better, development gets better, and they produce more and better things with the existing consoles until the new ones come along, and then we have another jump, and then we move on again.
Mm-hmm.
So
if we look back to 2017, if we compare obviously this year, like the bigger titles, even if we haven't played them, but just off of word of mouth and such. So last year started with Zelda, like one of the big games, Zelda.
Oh yeah, that was the Switch Zelda.
Yes.
Yes, most people like that.
Yes, Super Mario as well. That came out last year.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what else. Assassin's Creed, obviously that was Origins, that came out last year.
That was Oranges, yeah.
Yeah, Wolfenstein, Prey, Persona as well. Resident Evil came out last year. We got that classic Sonic the Hedgehog game. What came out? I think it was a fan-made one, not a fan-made one, but a company that was hired out by Sega to make it, which was like well received.
Was it? Oh right.
Yeah, which was strange for a Sonic game.
There hasn't been a good Sonic game since Sonic 2.
Yeah. And that was Mega Drive days, guys. Mega Drive.
It was, yeah.
What else have we got? So yeah, Resident Evil and Sonic came out as well. What else do we see? That Nier Automata.
Yeah, people like that.
Horizon Zero Dawn as well came out.
Yes, that's on my wish list as well. Yeah. I want to play that.
And Cuphead as well. That came out last year.
Oh no, don't have any desire to play that.
I hear that's a very frustrating game.
Yeah, very quick, very hard levels. No thanks.
No, thank you indeed.
Can you make it slow and easy?
Horizon Zero Dawn is, to me, it's beautiful. I just couldn't get into the combat because.
Okay.
You don't
so you
really
bought
have
it.
Yeah, I got it on release, and you're not really giving a choice in the way that you fight. So obviously a lot of games, like especially open world games, they tend to give you can either sneak about or do this or that, but you pretty much you have no other choice because you'll just die basically. Then to be a bit more sneaky about it.
Okay. So you can't go full on.
You can, but it's not going to end well.
Oh, okay.
So you're pretty much you kind of force into like at least setting traps.
Okay, and doing a certain amount of that kind of stealth or sneak play.
Yeah, so
to get rid of a few of the enemies before.
And
right, okay.
Being a parent, not having much time to play games other than like games where you got to really concentrate and get engrossed in the story. Games that I've got to wait until the evening when the kids have gone to bed, and I'm getting tired at that point.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Whereas like I tend to spend most of my time playing games where it's just easy just to go along with it. So like
dip
FIFA,
in and dip out.
Yeah, FIFA. I can just turn FIFA on. I can play maybe like an hour of FIFA, and I'm not obliged to stick around to the end of this chapter or find out what's happened at this point or something. I just stick it on, play a game, 2 games, 3 games, turn it off, and then that's it. I'm done. Whereas I think the story wasn't enough for me to get past the whole combat in Horizon Zero Dawn. But I mean, it might be different for you. So, but no, it is a beautiful game to look at. It's stunning. But I mean, if you look back at those games though, and compare them to games this year, I think we've had like the big games have been better for this year, but I think the number of high quality games in general were better than last year. Because I think just looking back on this year, I think like we've had like a few 10s. I think there's been more 10s this year than there were last year. But I think the other games included, they were higher rated last year than they were this year. We've gone from like a maybe an average of about an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10s last year to maybe having 3 or 4 10 out of 10s this year, but then having quite a lot of shockers.
Okay.
Perhaps. So I think maybe what's fair to say is that the last 2 years have been probably the best 2 years combined for games.
I think so. I think that games are generally just getting better, and there's more and more money in the gaming industry.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst that will bring in some rubbish, it also means that there's more money to make the bigger and better games. And I have to say that generally I do like the AAA big money games. It's a bit like films, isn't it? You like a little independent film that's got something to say every now and again, but often you do just want to go and watch Avengers Assemble or whatever one it is this year.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that. You tend to be guaranteed a better playing experience anyway.
Generally.
Which play games, whereas, like you said, indie games tend to have a bit more buggy.
Sure, but like everything, I think people should not pre-order. I know that I did
Guilty.
Red Dead Redemption 2, but in general, you shouldn't pre-order unless you're absolutely certain that you really want to play it. Wait until it comes out. Wait till the reviews are out, and then you can make sure
I was
not
guilty
wasting
of that.
50 quid.
Yeah, I was guilty of that with Horizon.
Right. Okay.
Fallout 4.
Okay.
Because
I'm glad I bought Fallout 4 secondhand for a £5 in game, I think.
Yeah.
And I played £5 worth of it. I played a bit more than that, but ultimately it really wasn't for me.
Yeah, same. And I was a massive fan of Fallout 3.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think
I hadn't played any others.
I don't know how many hours I sunk into Fallout 3. I know I've got it on the PC, but when I predominantly played it, it was on Xbox 360. No, see, I've only played like 20 minutes on the PC version, so it's nothing. I think I've installed it and it was just buggy as fuck. So,
right.
But I think. Oh, when was Fallout 3 out? I think that came out when I was at college in my first year, so that would have been 10 or 11 years ago. And I think I played it for at least that first year solidly, and then gone back to it before the new generation release and stuff every so often. But yeah, I think the one problem with games going forward now is they're trying to put too many systems into a game.
Okay.
Like, I think, unless I'm just getting to the age where
you want things simple.
Not simple, but I've got to the point where my level of gaming has reached a point where I'm happy wherever it was. So, and I don't want to learn anything new. Kind of thing.
Ah, right, yeah.
Whereas my dad was happy with, like,
this is a video recorder versus DVD.
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm happy with my video. I don't need to learn about a DVD.
Yeah, which is weird because I think like my own dad, he doesn't struggle with like some things, but like he tends to pre-order these games. So like Red Dead, and he's not a big fan of Red Dead 2.
Oh, right.
And he even pre-ordered it. I tell him every single time, like, these new big games coming out where he's not sure about them, but he'll still pre-order it. And I know he will pre-order it because he's a sucker for the pre-order. He's worse than me. And he knows it. He knows it as well.
What? How do you mean? You mean?
He'll get caught up in all the hype.
He gets caught up by the hype and the pre-order bonus, and then
no, it just gets
just caught up in the whole hype train.
Because he thinks especially if it's like a multiplayer game, it's got multiplayer aspects. If he misses out and then gets it like 2 or 3 weeks later, then there's no one else can be playing it or anything. But like I said, he'll still buy it and things, and he always does it. And sometimes he's even bought it twice, so both for PlayStation and Xbox, and then he didn't like it either time. So, but yes, I think I've gotten to the point. Well, so like at one point, my dad would only play like driving games because obviously you're kind of limited to what kind of systems you have in a driving game, aren't you?
Yes, they're all very similar.
Yeah, so you can't really add much else to a driving game rather than just driving. And then
I know something like Onrush that we mentioned before. That tried to add extra sort of battle type elements to the driving game, and it's failed. Within a month or two, it was already on sale and down at half price.
There you go then. But then there's been games like that out for ages. There was the I don't know what console it was on. I want to say it was on like Mega Drive or something else. It was a motorbike game.
Road Rash.
Road Rash, yes.
The Road Rash 1. Just loved that game.
Yes, there's like there is kind of like not a fan made, but someone did a rip-off remake on PC.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. Like I'll find it out once we finish recording. But yeah, I think I've reached that point where my learning of game systems is either slowing down or it's just stopped. I think I don't want to say it's a struggle learning. Like for me, Red Dead was quite easy to learn, but there's one thing that I keep forgetting to do, and that's the map button. I keep pressing on the PlayStation controller the big square button in the middle,
right,
for the map, and it's not. That's what is that button for now?
That's the camera viewpoint.
Yeah, the camera viewpoint. I keep pressing that to go to the map.
Oh, right, okay.
Because other games that I've played have taught me.
Yes, because almost everything is sort of map. That's the map, right? Well, you know that you hit options. If you long press options, it jumps you straight into the map.
Yeah, okay. But that's one of the things though. Like I've noticed a lot of games these days are doing that, where the long press button. So like No Man's Sky does it with pretty much all of their option buttons. You long press square or long press X, don't you? Just to confirm that you want to like if you want to if you want to delete a game in No Man's Sky, you long press the square button.
Oh yeah, No Man's Sky is a nightmare for long press everything.
But I've noticed a lot of games are doing that these days. So like Assassin's Creed, if you want to open a chest, you just don't tap the button. You have to do the long press.
Well, sometimes I can see some value in it, like getting into a chest. It shouldn't be a quick thing, should it? So a long press and a bit of an animation, you kind of feel that's how it ought to be. But just to select a menu item is frustrating. Yeah,
but like I said, a lot of games I've noticed have started to do that kind of
maybe
style.
They have.
I mean, it might just be a style kind of thing. It's just a new thing that's going into fashion, so to speak. It's very minimalistic, isn't it? Though, rather than just pressing to get an instantaneous result, it kind of prolongs the gameplay and it makes it a bit more minimalistic. I feel. Maybe that's just me for some reason, but yes. Anyway, guys, I think we've given you a jam-packed episode there of just over.
Yes.
In fact, it feels longer than I thought it was. Actually, it's only just over an hour. It feels like being rattling on for a good hour and a half or something. But yes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been our pleasure discussing all things gaming related. Please leave a like, drop us some comments, let us know what you feel about whatever we talked about today. I should look back. Abyss, yes, let us know your thoughts on and experiences on Abyss. Do you reckon games are going to be unfairly judged in the near future anyway against Red Dead Redemption 2? And let us know if you think this year has been the best year for games definitely not on the Xbox. PlayStation, yes. Xbox, no. So yeah. Oh, go check out our merch, guys. I don't know if he's wearing it, but Kings.
Oh no, I'm not. Oh damn! I was supposed to do that.
It's alright. I'm not wearing it either, so it's okay. It's alright. We'll wear it next time, and we'll just poke fun at Jeff because he hasn't bought one yet. But we do have some merch, guys. It is going to be linked in...
I will wear it for our 50th episode.
Oh, 50th. Oh, Jeff's got to get one now, otherwise he's just going to let the team down.
You'll have to superimpose one in front of his.
Yes.
Chest.
Oh, he's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to make him wear a green T-shirt so I can green screen
a
T-shirt on. Yeah. So yes, guys, go check out our merch if you do feel like not donating, but supporting the channel. See if you fancy buying a T-shirt, a jumper, a mug.
Yeah, I was thinking about a mug. Might have to buy one.
A mug. I don't drink tea or coffee though, so I always find it a bit weird when at Christmas time someone buys me a mug. Yeah, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but what am I going to do with it? It's like socks are one thing, a coffee mug or tea mug for me is another thing. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Kings, for being with us today, or being with me today.
Yeah, no problem. It's been fun.
And from us to you guys, we shall see you next time.